Olá, eu sou Moisés Esagui e agora nós estamos no terceiro dia do Aprenda sobre o Comportamento Humano.
Hello, I am Moisés Esagui. We are on the third day of Learn About Human Behavior. We have been doing this work to spread knowledge about evolution, which is very important for us. Evolution, from our point of view, depends on relationships. We don't evolve without relating to people and everything that is around us. For you to grow, relationships are fundamental. We are doing this work at our small farm, San Damiano. This is a place of peace and tranquility, where you can enjoy yourself. For us to enjoy a little of what we are, to feel what we are, we need a place that does not create turbulence and defensive difficulties for us. Today I will talk about aggressive behavior. If you know you are an aggressive person, you need to know the features of this type of behavior. No behavior is yes or no, 0 or 10. It has nuances. I've said this before for people not to think it's exaggerated or an obsessive behavior. I'll even talk about that. If you have obsessive behaviors, you take everything into your thinking. If you have hysterical behaviors, you take it to your body. Obsessive people don't want anyone to see what they're doing. They hide things in their head and try to solve them through internal chatting. Hysterical people seek attention and behave dramatically. Look, I'm hurt. What can you do for me? We'll see that the features I'm talking about, both from obsessive and hysterical people, are present in people who are passive or aggressive. Since we are talking about aggressive people today, how does an aggressive person act? First, pointing their finger. They point at things and impose themselves shouting. Aggressive people have difficulties in accepting a no. Things have to happen the way they want. They arrive somewhere dominating the place, and this is an inconvenient behavior in some situations. That person who talks a lot, or the one who doesn't say much but has a not so inviting facial expression when you talk. Being aggressive or passive are defensive arguments of our emotional part, of our psychic apparatus. So it's good to know that you're either aggressive or passive because there are a lot of fears around you. The aggressive one may have emotions that are so out of control that their attitudes are always preventive. Many times they infer things will happen, and before they do, they've already taken action. These attitudes are to constrain and limit the others. See if this happens to you, if you usually infer things. You see somebody's attitude and think, because this person looks like someone you knew beforehand, they may be the same way. Maybe because of their faces, hair, movements. Then you have a conscious or unconscious defensive reaction that results in aggressiveness. This aggressiveness is simply to stop a threat that happened to you in the past. It's important to be aware of it because you start living better, you begin understanding yourself. The aggressive person sometimes walks faster than usual. They also make abrupt and more threatening gestures than the passive. The passive person is slower. They want to avoid confrontation. The aggressive often wants confrontation to solve their issues, to be sure the other is dominated. They end things because the other is afraid. The fear they had is transferred to the others. Look how interesting our human behavior process is. By the way, you must know each one of us is different. Each one of us responds to the environment and to situations in a different way. For an aggressive person, one situation can have a violent response, but for another person, the same situation has no importance. Each human being is different. We have more than 8 billion people on this planet, and you can be sure nobody is the same. We can be similar, but not identical. There might be some similar points, but in fact we're absolutely different. We are talking today about aggressiveness, which is something that, if understood, can be solved. We can't solve extreme aggressiveness only using our ego, but with professional help, so that you can understand its causes. It's nice if you have a small level of aggressiveness. By the way, any emotional difficulty that is not so serious and that doesn't disorganize your ego can be solved by your strength. Your ego has enough structure to handle it, for example, in case of shyness. Sometimes a shy person training to deliver speeches can manage to overcome their shyness. This is pretty good. It is something we can really use in our life. Try to solve it. If you can't, seek help because you're certainly far from normalcy. Another thing, you may ask me what normalcy is. Normalcy is not what is common. It is the balance between the relationship with yourself and with the environment. We are here talking about aggressiveness. Why? Because learn about human behavior really wants you to see what you are made of. Where can we go if we don't know ourselves? We have to know ourselves. This has everything to do with spirituality. I'll even ask you something. If you are aggressive, what kind of spiritual consciousnesses do you think are close to you? Quiet and happy consciousnesses, without bad attitudes. No, the aggressive ones too. They have the same pattern as you. Aggressive people have internal issues that need to be externalized. And other people have to swallow it. That person who suddenly has an outburst, gets very angry, starts screaming, and shows an aggressiveness we didn't even expect. They are also surrounded by these consciousnesses, which had the same defensive feature in their physical life. The spiritual world corresponds to the physical world, according to our characteristics. Peaceful and happier people, the ones who seek knowledge and also healthy relationships. They are people who have the same kind of companion. I repeat this because some people think they have extremely evolved spirit guides, but they are moody, aggressive. But you think your spirit guide helps you when you ask. I risk myself saying this, but it's just my point of view. You can question me, send me a message. Moisés, I don't agree with what you said. You can find the address of our website and our social networks in the description of this video. You can send us a message there. We can have a chat and you will see that the path I make is the one I can learn more. Maybe the things I believe don't make sense. You can come to me and explain your point of view too. We can talk, and maybe you say things that convince me. And I'll talk about what you told me, okay? What I'm saying is that when we have a characteristic, and it predominates in us, our spiritual companions will be consciousnesses with more or less the same pattern of evolution. The chakras work at a certain level and our expression is the energies we consume, we process, and codify with everything we think, and our exteriorization of energies is always within this pattern. That is, you cannot exteriorize energies of love if you don't even know what love is. You can't do that. Aggressive people have to take responsibility for this. To a certain point, you can call the initiative a person has a coherent thinking. Because they are free from dysfunctional emotional contexts. It's not because you express yourself that you are aggressive. You can present your opinion without emotional burdens, that is, without aggressiveness. The aggressive person puts emotional burdens in what they do. The passive one also puts emotional burdens in what they do. When they tell a story, they show emotional burden. Actually, the story is the least important thing in the situation. That's what they do. Next time we will talk about assertive behavior. You will understand in our Learn About Human Behavior how we can constitute ourselves in a healthier and happier way. We are recording here in San Damiano, which is a very special place. You can come and visit if you want. You can find the address of our website and our social networks in the description of this video. You can join us and be part of this work. We are an association, a non-profit association. Come and join us. Help us grow and we'll make the world a little bit better than it is. This world is our world, our home, our planet. We must treat it with great care and affection. So we'll meet again on the fourth day, when I will talk about assertiveness in relationships. I'll meet you there.
Eu encontro você lá.
Would you like to participate in a work of energy giving from afar that is benefiting thousands of people? Click on the link below for more information.